it going, everyone? So, we just got done with the march yesterday. If you stumble upon this broadcast and don't know about the march, we had a march for fairness yesterday in Austin, Texas, where we marched from Austin City Hall to Texas State Capitol in order to raise the awareness on discrimination against high skilled workers based on their country of birth. And I have some friends with me who also joined that march. So we just wanted to talk about how was the entire experience of the march, that what we learned, what you observed, and also I completed. So I have been traveling to all the 50 states of the United States in order to spread the awareness on discrimination against high skilled workers based on their country of birth. And that 50 states, my campaign was to do all the 50 states within a year, which I completed yesterday. And during my campaign, a lot of people, one of the common question I have been getting is that, Anuj, what you gonna do once you are done with all the 50 states, which I got done yesterday, and I have some other plans. But this was one of the plan was to that once I get done with my traveling, once I have more time, I need to start this kind of like podcast, you can call it, or whatever you want to call it, that weekly live stream where I bring different guests or maybe just me talking about different things related to this issue. That let's say someone wants to share their story, I want to give them a platform to share their story, right? And if we have any updates related to the bills or those kind of things, this is the platform I want to use for those kind of things. So anyways, yeah, for this is like just the beginning of that weekly live streams, and I have my friend Lucky, Mohit, and Dixit with me, and it's nice that they are with me because like we have been friends for a long time, so they were there even when I was like thinking about doing all this 50 states. So like they are there when I am brainstorming all these ideas. So it's nice they are here as well when we are starting this thing. Anyways, yeah, to just introduce yourself, if you want to say anything, just go ahead and you can say anything. Like,
yeah, sure. Hello, everybody. My name is Dixit, and I've come here from Birmingham, Alabama. I also joined Anuj for the protest in Tennessee as well as in Georgia. And I wanted to be here when he was marking his 50th state, and also to spread the awareness. So yeah, we're gonna talk more about like frequently asked questions in this session. So yeah.
Good. Hello everyone, my name is Mohit Bhakchandani. Like I said, we've known each other for quite some time, and just to share a small story, when he said, we were with him when he was planning for doing something like this. I remember talking to him last year in January or February, and we were planning a trip, and I asked him to join us, and he was like, I can join because I'm planning something big, and something big is going to come up in March. And at the time, we also didn't know what the big thing was, but I remember him telling me that I'm gonna do something big. It's like, okay, we'll see. But then it turned out to be a huge effort from his part. And yeah, I joined him in a few states. I live in Dallas, so I was able to go to some of the states nearby. And the 50th state, we went to Austin just yesterday. We're here, and now we're gonna reflect on whatever we saw during the march. So we'll talk more.
Right. Hey everyone, I'm Terence, and I'm a friend of Anuj as well. I have known him for quite some time now. and like Mohit said, last year when we were planning a trip here in the United States, and we invited Anuj as well. That, hey Anuj, why don't you join us? Because we take trips often together. And he said that I'm doing something big and I want to make a difference. And I'm sorry, but I won't be able to make it. And I was really shocked because Anuj would never deny to travel with you. He loves traveling. But he said no, and I was a bit surprised and curious as well that what is Anuj gonna do? I mean, what's more important to him than traveling? And then he shared his plan sometime later that you know what, I'm gonna travel to all 50 states within 1 year. So that's like 50 states in 52 weeks. And I was like, how are you gonna manage it? And I had lots of questions of my own that how is he gonna travel? How frequently he's gonna travel? Will he be able to make it? Or
That too while working full time.
that too while working, yeah. But I'm really glad that he was able to complete his 50th state yesterday, and I was able to join him. So first of all, many congratulations again, Anuj, on successfully completing the full campaign. I'm personally really proud that you have shown such a dedication to an issue which is very near to myself. Probably a lot of us who are stuck in this green card backlog, and he has inspired a lot of people along the way, myself included. And I'm glad I could be part of yesterday's campaign and march, and we'll talk more about it in the podcast.
Okay, yeah, thanks. Thanks for your kind words. They might or might not be paid for saying this. And another thing that this podcast or this episode is not sponsored by Prime, but if they want to, yeah, we are open, so we can have a talk.
If you guys are watching JJ KSI,
Right, yeah, let them know that we are open for sponsorship. That would be great. Support for our cause. Anyways, today we're gonna few things. We're gonna talk about the march, some other things we have planned, and like Dan, Lucky, or Terrence. Just for fun, he's gonna play devil's advocate. So what he's gonna do is that he's gonna play someone who is in favor of country cap, and he's just gonna have different questions, or maybe like argue that why country cap is fair, right? So kind of questions, or maybe like speaking in support of just for fun, but not just for fun, but because it better prepares us to come up with a better arguments, succinct arguments, and maybe like someone who is watching, you might be getting this kind of questions, maybe online or maybe in real life, right? So we want to be better prepared for this kind of conversation. So that's what we want to do, and we want to like generalize, like make it normal to have this kind of conversation. That if you are in green card backlog, then that's not something you did wrong. That's why you are in green card backlog. That's none of your fault. So then, like I have seen that many people feel shy or afraid to have this kind of conversation, which is not helping our cause, right? That if we have this conversation in our day-to-day life, we would be able to help raise awareness a lot, and that would help to bring the change or solution faster, right? So just to begin with about yesterday's march, I feel good about yesterday's march. It required a lot of planning, and this is something I have thought, but I didn't know that it's possible or not. So if anyone wants to plan, like I didn't organize or got this permit as one of the organization, right? That I applied for this permit by myself as an individual, and while you don't have this permit, it looks like it's very difficult, right? Because that when you do this kind of march, if you get the permit, they come give you the protection from the whichever city you are doing in, and they also do the partial road closure, right? So just some thoughts that would they do this for us, right? That would they close the partial road, and that's one of the main road. We did it on Congress Avenue, which leads to the state capitol, and also we did another permit was to get to protest at the Texas state capitol on the grounds with using a loudspeaker and that kind of things, right? So that required sponsorship, someone from the Texas state government. So those kind of things seem challenging, but then what we learned that all of that is possible, and a lot of the things we can do as an individual. So a lot of the organizations are there, and sometimes we wait for them, and if they are taking action, great, and they should. But a lot of the things like if you want to do in your city or state, it's like something you can do. So after all those things, the turnout we expected was low. I guess there were like 12 to 40 people in the march, but we had a good group, and group with a high energy. So when we were like marching, we were like chanting different things to raise the awareness, and a lot of people were stopping to see that what that is about. So I think that even with the small group, we were able to accomplish a good amount of result we were expected. So I feel good. What are your thoughts like while you attended the march? What you were expecting from this march, or like were you nervous to attend this march, or this kind of thing? Like just anything you want to say? What are your thoughts on the march?
Yeah, so this was my very first time actually joining Anuj for a protest, and lucky for me, it was the last one, and I finally got to be a part of it before his whole campaign ended. And when I came here in Dallas, I had no idea that we are gonna have a march. I mean, we're gonna have police protection. We're gonna have some road closure. That and that's when I realized, oh, we're gonna do it big. And then, like Anuj shared, that we are actually gonna protest on the Capitol grounds. And even yesterday, there were some other protests going on outside, but we got the permit to protest in the Capitol grounds. And like Anuj said, that requires sponsorship and all. So that's also one of my questions, Anuj, if you can answer later. That how were you able to get a sponsorship for this event, and what all other things were needed? But my personal experience, I was really glad that I was personally able to take some action. I was able to come down here, meet other people, who are in the same backlog, who are passionate about the same cause, and was able to shed light on this important issue to a lot of different people. Because what surprised me most is not that much surprise, but almost all of the American people that we talked with, none of them know about this issue. And this issue is so prevalent. I mean, approximately 1 million people are stuck in this backlog, and nobody knows about it. I mean, that means nobody is talking about it. Even us who are stuck in this backlog, people who are facing this sort of discrimination. And when Anuj initially shared that, if we don't talk about it, it's not going to change. So I have personally started talking about it to everybody. Every time I take a Uber, every time I go to get a haircut, every time I'm, just interacting with someone, I try to bring up this country cap. And the response always is mostly positive, that this is just so unfair what's happening with you guys. And that's the same thing that happened yesterday. Most of them were really surprised that such a discriminatory law exists right now, and that too for high skill immigration. So I was really glad. I had a little bit of stigma that I'll get some backlash from people that no, this is law. How can you go against an established law? You should just be grateful to be here. But everybody who I interacted with, they were very kind and polite. They listened, they understood the problem, and they said that they are totally against this country cap. So coming down here and protesting yesterday actually gave my confidence a really good boost, that I should just keep going on. I should just keep talking to more and more people who I interact with every day. and just spread awareness on this issue. So yeah, thanks Anuj for really coordinating the whole thing.
My experience was I think I would call huge compared to the other protests I've been to. So I remember my first protest with Anuj was at the Tennessee State Capitol in Nashville. I think it was second week of December.
I think so.
Yeah, it was second week of December, and I was very nervous about that thing. I was thinking like, how is it gonna be? Is it gonna be like people are gonna ask and like talk and maybe debate on the topic or something like that? And I asked him a lot of questions about it, and he was like, no, it is gonna be a peaceful protest. And we were standing in front of the Capitol building in Nashville, Tennessee, and people were walking by. There were a lot of cars moving who were looking at our banners and stuff, and also there was a car who turned around and stopped by and asked us a question. So we were trying to share awareness as much as we could. And I remember that day, I asked him like, what is the next state it is gonna be. So he gave me the whole itinerary, and then he told that 50th state is gonna be Texas. And I remember like after 2 weeks or something, I booked the tickets for Texas, and I decided yes, no matter what, I want to be there on the 50th state when it's gonna hit the 50th state. I didn't even know like a week ago that there is going to be a march and all that stuff. And again, I was a little bit nervous that okay, how does it look like? We are going to walk on the streets. What is going to happen? How will people react around us? But when we started our march, it was a very bolstered moment. I would say we started chanting that we want fairness for high skilled immigration. And slowly and steadily we proceeded towards the Capitol State Building. And when we reached the Capitol State Building and we started chanting there, I realized that there were a lot of people who were interested to know about this specific discrimination happening against a lot of, a few countries, I would say. And then there were two specific learnings which I got out of this specific event. That yes, when we are just going and marching at each and every state, it is definitely we are spreading awareness, but to make a bigger impact, you have to actually reach out to somebody who is in power, maybe the senator or maybe a representative. And Emily Newman, who's an immigration lawyer, she was there with us, and she shared that she has built up a template which is specifically about like how do you reach out to the specific senator or like the representative of your city or of your area. So that was the first learning I think I had, and the second learning, which Terence already told, that it is important for us to share awareness, and on the same side we have to make an impact. So impact is definitely share awareness. That is maybe one part of it, but the other part of it, which I realized, is to actually reach out to the people, maybe the senators or the reps of our area or of the city. So that was a big learning for me in order to how to actually bring impact in this moment. And I would thank Anuj to actually invite me over here, and I'm glad that I was able to be a part of this event.
Yeah, I mean, I had similar experiences to what these guys said, but I just want to share an experience that I had while when we were talking. So after the march completed, we started from Austin City Hall to Texas State Capitol, and when we were at the Texas State Capitol trying to talk to as many people as we could, and like Dikshit said, we were chanting, we want fairness for high skilled immigrations and save America, remove country gap, and all those things. And people got intrigued by those chants, and they came and asked questions like, what is country gap? Why do you want to remove it? And how does it benefit America? So we were going through all these conversations, and we realized like none of the Americans know about this. And that's kind of obvious because that's something that's not directly impacting us, although it is in a way that we'll go into further in this conversation. But a lot of Indians who are impacted by this also don't know about this. They're like, what's the point? Why do you want to do this? How is it going to benefit us? Do you think it is unfair for other countries and all that? So it was a good chance to talk to those people and trying to educate them that, hey, this is impacting you. The backlog is over 130 years now. And if you don't speak about it, if you don't talk to, like he said, to your congressmen or to senators, and we don't take action, we don't have conversations, people are not going to do anything. even I remember talking to my other group of friends that I mentioned it to them that hey, I'm gonna go to Austin next week. I have a friend who does this, and some of my friends are joining, and then we have a bigger group who's gonna meet us in Austin, and they were all worried that why do you want to do this? It's unsafe in city like Austin. When you're protesting something about it, what happens? If people get there, but I said it's a peaceful protest. We just stand there, we talk to people, we're not doing anything that can make people aggressive, right? So it's a nice, peaceful conversation to have, and that's what our aim was to try to educate people. But it was a good experience. We got a chance to talk to a lot of people from different backgrounds, right?
Yeah.
They're trying to have different conversations. People were asking all sorts of questions like why, what, when, and all those things, right? It was a good thing that we did.
Yep.
I said, while we were having this podcast, I suddenly realized that. Do you guys notice that before 2023, every time we meet, our main focus was where do you guys want to travel?
Yeah.
And now it's always what else can we do to meet when we can?
So the funny thing is that while we were driving to Austin, or like while we were like we be hanging out for this week, and I asked all three this question, and that's the question. If you are listening, like think about this question. I didn't say that give this particular answer, but I just asked individually all to all three of them that let's say that today, if you can change only one law in the United States, if you can change one law, and don't be selfish, just like change something which would make the biggest impact. What is something wrong and what is something can benefit United States and everyone in general? And after thinking about this little bit, all three they came individually with the answer that they would remove the country cap, because this country cap, if you think about it, right now there are a lot of things wrong, but the law wise, what law allows to legally discriminate someone based on their country of birth, which is against United States law, by the way, that with their definition is discrimination. And these country gaps are still there, that someone's growth who is legally in the United States is restricted by their country of birth. So they all came with this, that this is the law which needs changing, not only because it's unfair to a lot of people, but it's not good for America. While they like the skill immigration is very limited in the United States, and even that is kind of become like kind of charity. When you want to give it equally, then employers cannot hire based on the merit. A lot of the people who are not qualified, they are getting priority based on where they are born. So this is like something which is unfair to a lot of people, but also at the same time not good for America at all. So that's the answer they came up. So like think about this, that what is the one law, if you can change it, what would be that law that you can change in the United States? And if you come up with a different answer, we would love to know that. So leave it in the comments, right? That what if you can change one law, what would be the one law would make biggest impact? Anyways, and while we are having this conversation, if you guys have any questions at all, leave it in the comments. I just posted there as well, that if you have any questions about the march or related to this issue which we can answer, or just if you want to know something about us, right, that what is our favorite animal or anything like that, put it in the comments. We'll try to answer as much as we can to some of the things they were talking about. And one of the things which was common among all four of us, I guess, that first time we were going out for protest, we were nervous, right? And that's what I have focused, not focused, that's what something I have learned, that we are always afraid about something which we have never done, right? That if you are traveling on the plane for the first time, then like no matter how much people tell that don't be nervous, until you travel on the plane, you would be nervous. And once you travel on the plane, then you know that, okay, that's not a big deal, or like when you experience the turbulence for the first time, or something like that. So a lot of the things, until we do it, we are nervous, and the only way to get over that nervousness is to go out and do it. So once like they came out to the protest, and then they one thing we say is that our mind wants proof, not promises. And the promise is that everything is gonna be fine, but until you experience it, it's not kind of possible. But once you experience, your brain has the proof that we went to a protest and we had a great experience, and none of the thing, like if you are doing this on the Twitter, you will see that a lot of people are coming up with the crazy comments, but you will not see that in real life. Because in the real life, the people are very respectful, and the people who has like kind of that kind of mindset are like, they are like very afraid to come out and speak about it openly. So yesterday we had a great experience. The police officer who came out to support us, like or protect us, they were very supportive. We had a great. The guy who processed our permit at the state capitol, he was surprised to find out about this, that how this is possible, and he was so glad that they were able to help us, right? So all the people, as they're finding out, they are always supportive, and I have like never. I did this in 50 states, right? So I have never met any aggressive person, and that's one of the reason I did it, right? That why I did it in all 50 states. And one of the reason is that I protested in all the 50 states to show it that you can protest in all the 50 states. It's not that if you are in California, it's easier to protest there. You can protest anywhere, and people are welcoming everywhere when they know that you are legally here, you are contributing. No one I have found that who is against us. So I hope you guys do more of that. Let's see. Meanwhile, if you want to share anything, go ahead. If you have any other thoughts, I'm just going to check the comments on the video, that if there are any other comments before we go to the next segment.
Sure. I would just say, guys, just talk about this issue. I mean, coming from India, I guess most of us are a little bit shy to talk about issues that affect us. We might think, why do I bother this person, right? Talking about my issues, or I don't want to be a crybaby, and all those things. But in reality, when you talk to someone about this issue, they are very supportive. It's clearly discrimination, and everybody can clearly see that. And as much as you talk about it, they'll understand this, and they will talk about this further, right? The message will spread, and individually, if there is something that we all can do, is just keep talking and start talking about this issue.
Yeah, one other thing, one other thing that, with the conversations that I've had personally with some of my friends and coworkers and everywhere else, is that there is some sort of stigma that, since we are here on a visa, it's not safe to do so. What if, some action gets taken against us? But it's nothing like that. All of us here are here on a visa. But it's not like that you're on a visa and you won't be able to speak about it. You're just talking to people. You're not doing anything wrong. You're just trying to educate people. You're trying to spread the awareness about this issue that is deeply affecting us. So I would just say, just keep talking about it. It's nothing like people are going to do something against you, right?
Right.
I had a very interesting experience, honestly, and why was it different so far in this campaign was I was never active on Twitter or never active on any other social media. So I did not see any kind of negative comments in general. So I did not know, or I did not interpret like how people are going to react when I'm going to talk in front of them physically, standing in front of the Capitol building. And only I know about that this is an issue was through Anuj and this small group of people who we always talk about. Like there is a discrimination and I am campaigning against it. So I always saw the reality which people feel and people talk about when you are in front of the Capitol building or any place you're protesting. So I joined Anuj the first time at Nashville, and the experience was really, really good. People were very empathetic, I would say, right? When we tell them the story that we have been here for so long, like 6 years, 10 years, 15 years, then they're like, oh, really? Have you been here for that long and you don't have a permanent residence or you don't have a green card? So they do feel empathy about us that we do not get to travel. We if there is an occasion in our like native country, it's very difficult for us to travel. We have to plan a lot, taking like permissions or like getting some approvals from our employer first, and then we have to also think about a visa and all that things. When people really hear about this, they are really empathetic about that thing. So I would say when you look at things on social media, on Twitter or anybody anywhere else, you see a lot of negative comments, and I think that is what people see, and they fear about that. Okay, if this is something online, then what if I get on the roads physically and what happens to me? I think this is a stigma which people feel all the time. So my experience was very different than other people, but yeah, I'm glad that I was not able to see that part, or maybe if I would have seen that part first, maybe I would also been afraid or frightened to be with Anuj or any of the campaigns. So I'm glad that I had experience, but I would highly recommend or ask people to actually experience this one time. When they experience it one time, they get motivation that yes, I want to do it again, or maybe I want to spread the awareness. So that is the first step you have to take. You have to be on the driver's seat, I would say, and at least do it once. And if you do it once, you'll feel that yes, this is something which we should actually protest against, and this is wrong, and we have to stand for it, because if we don't stand for it, nobody's going to stand for us. So you have to be on the driver's seat at some point of time.
Yes, yeah, that's very important. Just to address something which Mohit said that because we are on visa, we don't have representation. So one of the guy Ajay who joined us, who is in Dallas as well, and he had an interesting conversation with one of the representative in his district, and he wrote to him that okay, because I'm on visa, we don't have voting right, and the response he got from his representative that hey, don't feel like that. You live in my district, and I am your representative as well, whether you are a United States citizen or whether you are not. As long as you are like tax-paying resident in my county or district, I am your rep. So a lot of people has the stigma that the representative, which are like each whatever is your zip code, it falls under particular district, and that district has a representative, and that's your representative as well, where you can write to him about challenging you are facing, and that's their responsibility or their job is to fix those. They're not gonna immediately focus on that. That depends on how many complaints they are getting, right? That the number one complaints in that district will get the number one priority. But let's say that if no one is contacting them, then sometimes we assume that okay, like they know everything, but they have like 1,000 priorities, they are getting 1,000 emails, and whatever issue they are getting the most emails about, they're gonna prioritize that this is the need of my district and I'm gonna focus on that. So we need to start reaching out to a member of the Congress more. What Dixis was saying that one of the experience I just wanted to say that first time he came to protest in Nashville and we just started protesting outside of the state capitol, there was like very little foot traffic there, but there were like a lot of cars going by. And he was like, I wish that someone from the car comes to talk to us. And there was this one car who passed us and then they made a U-turn and they made another U-turn and they stopped right in front of us to know what the issue is and they talked to us for 15 minutes, right? So that was very encouraging, that kind of seeing that kind of response when you see firsthand. And that's why I did all this, right? That I know in my heart that American people are very nice people. That's our first-hand experience in our journey, right? And if I know that the more Americans know about this, they are going to be in our side advocating with us, right? So me and Mohit were in Oklahoma, and there was this gentleman, elderly gentleman, who came and talked to us about the issue, and he was like, we didn't tell him. They were like, I'm going to write to my representative, right? So the more people know that how bad this is, they're gonna start reaching out to their member of the Congress. So they will be advocating for us. Anyways,
Anuj, how do you reach out to your representative? I mean, I'm sure people would have this question that how do I reach out? Do I write an email, write a letter? Where do I find the address? What's the email address?
yeah, so there is a link. I can share it with you that if you just put the zip code there, or if you can Google it, who is my representative, then you're gonna get the link. If you put your zip code there, then it will tell you that this is your representative. Then they all have a website, right? You look up their website, and then there is a contact number there. If you call the DC office during the business hours, someone usually answers the call. I have never had that the call went to voicemail. So usually they answer the call. You can talk to them on the phone. Also, now as Dixit was saying that Emily Newman, better known as Immigration Girl, if you go to her website, she has a template as well for to support this particular bill, right? So those are the templates she created. You can use those templates to reach out to your member of the, like your representative or your senator. So whichever state you are living in, you have 2 senators. You can start reaching out to them as well. That we have the bill to fix this issue in House and Senate both. So you can start reaching out that way. Also, if you know about Area 51, just follow them on the Twitter. They are posting about one link. So they have created, there is this, I forgot the exact name of that thing, but it's an AI thing where you have to put very little information and that AI will send an email on behalf of you, right? So you don't even have to look that email address. You just have to type your zip code and put some information and the template they have already created. So that AI will send later on your behalf. But if you want to make it even better, that once this email is sent, right, then you need to call that office, ask them that they have received the email, follow up that when you can expect the response. So because they get a lot of emails, they usually don't reply to all the emails unless you are like really expecting or following up with their email. So if you can do that, that's better. But let's say that if you don't have time to call and follow up, don't think that, okay, then I'm not going to send the email. So anything you do is better than doing nothing, right? So start doing that. If you are still not able to find this link, like message me here or message me, reach out to me on Twitter or on Telegram, and I'll provide you this link. Okay, and
If I were to summarize the step-by-step process of actually what do we do, so it's like finding the representative, finding the letter, right, and fill it with your information and whatever problems you're facing, and then you mail it, maybe physically or maybe through email, and then you take a follow-up with them that okay,
Right.
have you received that or not? And would you recommend, or like, is it good, or how would you term it? Like, do we have to do it more frequently, like once a month, twice a month, until we get a response, or do we
I think
follow up on those emails? Like, did you talk about this in the house or something like that? Can we do that? Would that be a next step?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, right, let's say that you are writing to your representative. So, representatives are part of the House, and the bill we have in the House. Then, if we are reaching out related to that bill, then you are writing them that this is why you should fix this issue. You are writing to your representative, right? And then once you write them, like either you mail them, either you call them, either you email them, and then ask them that I'm going to follow up, right? If you call that, okay, talk to your representative, like because representative is not going to answer the call directly, so it's like you are talking to the one of the staff and tell them that you are expecting a response. So talk to the rep and get back to us and give them your contact information. If you have given them email, expect a response, right? Until you get a response, you can like keep following up with them. Let's say that what kind of response you should be looking for. So ideally, ask them to co-sponsor the bill. And if they cannot co-sponsor the bill, what is holding them up from the co-sponsoring this bill. That what are the things they need clarification, why they are not co-sponsoring, right? So if you figure out that what points is holding them back from co-sponsoring the bill, then we can address this issue, right? So you can come to us, you can write on your own that why sometimes people has a lot of misconception around the issue. So we can like try to address them and keep consistent. When we should stop, unless one thing to stop is that either they co-sponsor. That's great.
Okay.
Another thing to stop is that they clearly say that they are not going to co-sponsor it. Then you can stop. But until they are in dilemma whether to co-sponsor it or whether not, then you can keep following up with them. If you have some questions they are asking, if you can answer it on your own, answer it. And if you cannot, like then you can reach out to one of us on the Twitter or anywhere that, hey, this is the kind of confusion they have around this issue, how we can address it, right? So we can come up with the answer.
Another leading question I have, that this is what we are talking about the House. So we also have a bill in the Senate. So how do we like try to make things move in the Senate as well?
Yeah,
Same
Senate is the same process. You just have to look up your senator. Looking up senator is very easy because there are only 2 senators in each state. So, like Texas might have more than 50 reps, but Texas has only 2 reps, 2 senators. So that's regardless of the size of the state. There are only 2 senators. So if you look up that who is the senator for Texas per se, you will immediately get the results that these are the 2 senators of Texas, and that's easy to go to their website. Their contact number is there, office contact number. You can call them. You can ask that, can I get the email address of someone who is in charge of immigration related policy, and then you can get the email of one of the person who is in charge of like immigration related issue for that particular senator. So then you can start the conversation via email as well. So the procedure wise, it's pretty much same. Senator is kind of like easier to find who your senators are because they are only 2.
And what is the sign to stop reaching out?
Same, yeah. The procedure is same. That either they say that this is we not gonna co-sponsor no matter what because for whatever reason, then we stop, or like either they co-sponsor, and that's great, right? And you can share your success story that we did this. That's also important, right? That if you got a co-sponsorship because of your advocacy, let others know. That's encouraging for people. Right now, a lot of people are not taking actions because they think that nothing is going to happen. But if you don't do anything, then nothing is going to happen. But if you did something and something happened, let others know. So people will be encouraged to take more actions.
I have one more leading question to the same topic. So, as you said, that there are 50 reps in the state of Texas and only 2 senators. So, definitely, it's highly impactful when we reach out to the same, our representative in the zip code we live. Is it recommended that you reach out to other reps as well? Is it gonna make any impact or?
So good question. So I think that the first person you should reach out to your own rep because they give you the priority to people who are living in that district, right? So because they are in charge of that. So your first priority should be reaching out to your rep as per my understanding. But I have talked to other reps as well, and they have said that because if the issue is federal level issue, right, then you are not limited to reaching out to your reps only, right? So if you think that, okay, related to this issue, so and so rep would be easier to get their co-sponsorship on this bill, but they haven't yet co-sponsored yet, then you are free to reach out to them as well. So it's like you are not limited to reaching out. So let's say that if you were easily able to get your reps co-sponsorship, then if you still want to go further, extra mile, then you can start reaching out to the others as well, or you can do it simultaneously as well, right? That if you have more time, it's not like you can only reach out to one rep at a time. You can reach out to multiple at the same time if you can do it.
Got it. Thanks for the insights.
Mm-hmm. All right, so one of the question we got is that, Nikki, thanks for your question, is that you were having a chat with one of your managers, and one of the things they said is that the 7% is for all countries, and if they don't have that cap, Indians will be everywhere. And that's being said by one of the Indian manager, which is very unfortunate. So we just gonna go into that segment where we'll address that question as well. Let's see if there is another question. Sukhmit is asking this question that should we not focus on EAD AP first? Seems EAD can be done without new law, like illegals are getting, why can't legal ones get? So I support all kind of advocacy, right? That any relief we are getting is good relief. But when I started, right, that I have gone on length about all the kind of reliefs we can get, and all the other kind of reliefs are temporary. So if someone is advocating for EAD AP, like a Jain, if you know him, his committee is advocating for that, and he just met with Red Thanedar to push for this. So we support that and promote that as much as we can. But a lot of people already has EAD AP already, and it's not like the challenges has ended for them. That while traveling on AP seems like easier, but it's like I have come across a lot of people who faced challenges while traveling on AP, right? So when I started this campaign, I made it about my priority to end this discrimination, not just get the temporary relief. If I make it about EAD AP, then basically what I'm saying that if you give me this, I'm willing to accept this discrimination, which I am not, right? That we are asking for what we have been approved for and what others are getting in the same category we have been approved for. So if I make my priority to get EAD AP, then I'm saying basically that give me this thing, then I'll accept this discrimination. And when I go and talk to all these 50 people, not 50 people in all the 50 states, when I'm making this argument that okay, this is something which is wrong and needs to end, I feel more comfortable having this argument than asking that okay, this is wrong, but if they gave us EAD AP, then everything should be fine, right? So I don't want to go step by step because like a lot of people are not who are discriminated right now, they are not all advocating, right? And if they give EAD AP, then how many people will be advocating? People will become more comfortable in this kind of discrimination. So, and I have made a whole video on this topic. I can share you the link if you send me to reach out to me on Twitter, that I can share you the video that why I didn't make EAD AP my priority. All right. With that, let's go into this. So now, Lucky, he's gonna play someone who is in favor of country cap. That he has some question or arguments that why country caps are fair and why it should stay like that. And we'll try to address those questions or whatever his argument is and see how that goes. Meanwhile, if you have any questions, post it in the comments and we'll try to address those as well. Lucky, are you ready?
Sure.
You need to take it up and go into a different mindset.
All right, yeah, let's do it. So I think I'll probably go with Nikki's question first because she shared her personal experience that if there is no country cap,
like think about this is your manager, this is your experience, right? So get into that mindset.
I am.
Okay, yeah, that manager is sitting right here.
I am the manager.
Nikki's manager. He's playing Nikki's manager.
So if there is no country cap, there will be Indians everywhere, and it's gonna be unfair to everybody else.
Okay.
So what's wrong with country caps then?
Okay, so just to address this, right, that if there is no country cap, then Indians will be everywhere. But most of the Indians who are in the backlog, they are already in the United States, right? So if this is an issue that if we remove the country cap, Indians are going to be everywhere. And if you really want, like, let's say that someone wants to stop Indians, they don't want to see more Indians in the United States, then the right way to do it is they need to put first country cap on student visa.
That's right.
Because the number one country right now who got student visa is Indian students got the highest number of student visa. Now, student visa, it doesn't have country cap and it doesn't have quota. So what can happen is that United States next year can give 5 million student visa to Indian and they don't have any quota, so they can do that. Another way to restrict them is that put the cap on H1B, right? The H1B, L1, those kind of visas doesn't have country cap. So if you see that right now, I guess last year, around 60,000 Indians got that H1B. So what is happening is that Indians are coming here or and they are like not coming on their own because they are getting admission, because they are getting visa, because this kind of like you already hired Indian, right? That when you want to get the job done, you want to hire Indians. And that's why what is going to happen is that if there is no country cap on student visa, if there is no country cap on H1B, you're going to see more and more Indians in the United States as long as what the demands, what the shortage is in the United States, the skills which United States has shortage of, one of the country which produces the most is India. So if you don't have cap on this, what is going to happen is that you're going to see this. So your problem won't be solved. Only it's going to happen is that they will be discriminated. They won't get the equal rights and equal opportunities. So this cap, if you are in favor of, because you don't want to see more Indians, that is not being addressed right now. This cap is what doing that they are not giving them equal opportunities or equal freedom. Otherwise, this problem you are seeing it's not going to address by this cap on the immigration.
Summarizing it, like if you're worried about more Indians in the United States, it would be more like you want to cap it at an entry level rather than capping it in the mid-range level, right? Because the entry level of most Indians coming right now is a student visa. That's what Anuj addressed.
Actually, that's a really good idea. I'm all for it. Just put a cap on student visas and just stop the influx of Indian students right there. And so we won't see as many Indians everywhere in the IT sector and everywhere. And I think that if we do that, then it's going to be better for United States because then there will be some shortage of skills and that would push the US or American students to pursue these careers of high skills like engineering or medical.
Mhm.
So I think that's a really good thing that just stop the Indians so that the American students they'll then pursue these endeavors and they'll fill that shortage.
Okay, so yeah, if you want to do that, yeah, that's good. I don't think so. It would be a good idea, but let's say that you or anyone who is in favor of doing this country cap on student visa, we encourage them that start advocacy for that. I don't think so. It's gonna happen, and good idea. But I feel that let's say that every Americans feel that country cap is something fair, then put it on the all visas so we don't have disproportionate amount of backlog from one country, right? Then we are like getting the same amount of people from each country, then there will be like same amount of green cards for that particular country. So if someone wants to do that, I don't think so it's a good idea, but if someone wants to promote that, if someone doesn't want to see more Indians in the United States, then that would be a good thing for them to pursue to put country cap on student visa and H1B. One thing you said that, like, let's say that if you do that, I think more American will start pursuing. I'm not sure that's the case, right? That you cannot change people what career people want to pursue right away. If that was possible, then we wouldn't have the shortage in the STEM field we are seeing right now. Even though, like, let's say that nothing is changing, it's not stopping any Americans for pursuing whatever field they want to pursue. So if you want to have them pursue in the STEM field more and do like start getting PhD and all that. That's great, right? I usually say that if the immigration is not benefiting United States, then they can stop it. But if they are doing it, do it the right way, with everyone getting the fair treatment and fair, equal opportunities, right? So while they are doing it, they need to do it right. I think that it's very hard to change people's mindset to pursue the career, but we can always encourage, but that cannot happen overnight.
Yeah, but
Anything
I
else?
No, I
Yeah.
just want to focus on, like, of course, what Anuj and Nishit said is always true, but I just want to take it to a level deeper. That, don't you guys think this is unfair? Just gating one particular country, although they are not directly doing it, but it's given the amount of people coming in through F1 visas and H1 visas, we are discriminating one particular country than other countries. Although, people coming from India, highly skilled in STEM fields, they don't get that opportunity to work freely in the country, not change employers freely in the country. A lot of Indians have so many business ideas, right?
Right.
So many US companies have Indians as CEOs. So we have a proven track record of good entrepreneurs, and this is stopping us from creating our own business ventures. If we were given that opportunity, you would never know. We might create 2 more jobs, 10 more jobs, right?
But there is the opportunity. I don't see any difference. What's different between an Indian immigrant and an immigrant from some other country? This is the law right now, and I feel like you guys just wanna come here and change the rules of the country that you are uh, in as a temporary worker. U.S. can bring in as many people as Uncle Sam wants. We can have new temporary workers from India if we want every 6 years. Nothing stopping us. So I don't see why you guys are all like, we have a right, we want to do more, and we are treated unfairly.
Which I feel like we are treated unfairly, right? That United States lawmakers has the right to set the policy whichever way they want to set. But also, I came to the country which is a democratic country with the freedom of speech, so I have the right to protest. And whenever I feel that there is something wrong, I have the right to protest. And I feel that this is wrong, not only to the people from my country. There are a lot of people who came to this country based on the merit, and now their growth is restricted based on where they are born. So I feel that it's something wrong, and that's why I'm doing it, and a lot of us are doing it. But also, I love this country, and I want to keep seeing America get better. I want to see that India's and America's relationship progress, right? So if we are stopping, or if we start, or if we keep taking people based on where they are born, it's not good for America, and it's not good for democracy. So I feel that it's my responsibility to protest and make more people aware about it. And if we don't do that, then the wrong side is gonna win.
I before we move too far away from the topic which Terence started, and you said that we should put country cap to all the visas, right? So I would want to be the devil's advocate right now, and I would say that okay, F1 visa, that is a student visa, and H1 visa, those are the temporary visas, right?
Mhm.
So, and that is the reason that they don't have a cap, because the United States government expect those people to move back to the country, right? So my question would be, or I would like you to elaborate a little bit more, that okay, if not on F1 visa and H1 visa, why don't we have a country cap on I-140 application? That is the initial stage of the filing of green card, right? So how would you define that specific?
Okay, so lucky the manager converted. we just we just lost one guy. I think we did a bad job. At the end, it would be just me. All right, so the fair point, right? That let me address this thing is that okay. F1 visa is kind of, both are non-immigrant visa, but F1 is not a dual intent visa, so you cannot have intent to immigrate. H1B is a dual intent visa. So while you are going for H1 visa, no one is going to ask you that what you're going to do after 3 years. If you want to pursue the immigration like legal, long-term, permanent resident path, then you are legally allowed to do that. Now, some people say that okay, the non-immigrant visas doesn't have country cap, immigrant visa has a country cap. But I'm saying that in United States, it's against the law to discriminate someone, or like let's say that there is a job opening, you cannot discriminate based on race, religion, or the national origin, right? It's against the United States law. Now, once the student who got the student visa and they are in the United States, then they follow under that category, right? Now, student visa is not an immigrant visa. You are supposed to go back to your country once you finish your studies and OPD. But do you really, right? If United States really want them to go back to that country, then why do they allow change of status to different visas, right? Why they allow change of status to H1B? Like there is a visa called J1 or J2. I'm not sure clearly, but J1 is the kind of visa that if you are in the United States on J1, you can't change the status to other category. You first have to go back to your country and live there for 1 or 2 years, and then you can come on different visa, right? So if they really want students to go back, then why they don't have that on student visa? The reason I think that that is there is because they want to keep it there so they can deny the visa, student visa of anyone they want, right? Without any kind of like uh, long explanation. But once they are here, why certain countries people has a less opportunity than other countries, right? That everyone should go back, right? But let's say that one student from country like let's say Nepal, he already has a job, and that person didn't got H1B. Now that employer can file their immigration petition, and that person can start working in a 1 year or 2 year. It's right that 1 year they can get EAD. So that one student has a different opportunity based on where that student was born versus someone from India. If they don't get the H1B, then there is no option for them, right? That if the employer can sponsor their immigration petition, but they're not going to get the green card for more than 100 years. So you see that the two students, even though both supposed to go back to their country, but both has different opportunity. That one student can still stay in the United States. Meanwhile, someone, if they don't get the H1B, their opportunities are totally different based on where they are born, right? Then that is wrong. Both students should, I think, should have the same opportunity. Same for H1B, right? H1B is a dual intent visa. So no one can say that okay, yeah, it's like a non-immigrant. Put the cap on H1B. If country cap is fair, then put the cap on country cap on H1B. But if it is not fair, then make it streamlined. To your last point, that it's crazy that even immigration petition doesn't have country cap or quota. So what happens is that once their immigration petition gets approved for folks from India, whatever visa was their temporary visa, temporary work visa, H1B becomes their permanent visa. That then now you are permanent temporary worker, which is so unfair. So yeah, at least put it on the I-140. If you put the country cap on I-140, then the number of people who gets approved for immigration petition will be like streamlined. But I don't think so. The first three is possible right now because the skill shortage which United States has, very few country produces those skills at that number, and who are willing to leave everything behind and start the new life in a new country. That's kind of combination is very rare right now, and I don't think so it's possible to put on all three, student visa, work visa, and immigration petition. But someone, if they are like really sure that okay, country cap is a fair thing, then put it on all three, make it streamlined. If it is not fair, then remove it from uh, green card or adjustment. That's all.
I still don't get it, man. But there is equality of opportunity here.
Mhm.
All countries have the same equality in opportunity. What you're just asking for is equality of outcome, which is not possible anywhere. So it seems like you guys are just sort of asking for, favors now.
We
You've
are
forgotten that immigration is a privilege, not a right.
immigration is not a privilege. Immigration is a privilege, not a right. But the protest is a right. So there are like a lot of laws in the United States where not didn't existed. Like just to say something like voting for women was not a right, but protest is always a right, and that's how a lot of people who, whenever they saw that this is something wrong, then they protested about on that issue, and then they made the society better, they made America better. So that's why the protest is right whenever you see that this is something wrong. So that's why we are doing it. You saying that the equality of outcome is not possible, but that doesn't mean that we cannot try, right? That we can try. We wouldn't have the theoretical 100% equal outcome, but this is something which is like common sense fix that makes people qualify in the skill-based visas based on their skills, right? So this is common sense which we can fix. So people who qualified first and based on their qualification, right? Whenever their immigration petition, the standard which United States said that for this category you need this. Once they verified those standard, now give them on that priority, and that's something which is very easy to achieve.
Let me ask you a follow-up question on what you asked, and then we can go into it much deeper, right? You said equality of opportunity versus equality of outcome, right? Let's just say you are someone coming from India and there's someone else, like I mentioned, coming from Nepal. Both of you want to, you have your I-140 approved, and both of you are interested in doing something business. You want to create more opportunities, more jobs, and you want to serve the society in a bigger way. Do you think you and that person from Nepal have the equal opportunity?
So I don't think that this question is relevant, to be honest. When you're here on a temporary visa, you are supposed to be working in that particular job, that particular field. So if you want to have a business or something, just start your business in your home country and then apply for a different kind of visa, O1 visa.
Right, but that being said, we are still on work visa because of this kind of discrimination. If this discrimination wasn't there, then I would have been like a permanent resident long time ago, and I wouldn't be on this temporary visa, right? So, and this is like not good for America, right? That like someone, if you are restricting them, if they are skilled and if they want to start a business, then when if they allowed to start the business, then they're gonna start that business and create more jobs, and that is being restricted because the people who are in this backlog are some of the most qualified people with like tons of experience, right? And they have the capital, they have the knowledge. The only thing which is stopping them from starting different businesses or different companies, it's their visa status. And I don't think so that they should restrict them if they have already stayed in like that visa for a long time. What is the point here? Like, why you want to restrict them from opening the business?
And restricting them based on something that you don't have control on.
Right.
You don't have control on the place where you're born.
Right. Again, that comes right that like let's say that someone born in Nepal or France, if they want to open a business, they can do it very soon. Versus like right now, as per the backlog, the Indians they would have to stay forever on H1B in the employment-based category, even if their immigration petition is approved. You think that that's something fair that someone has to tie to that employer for the rest of their lives? How that is fair and how that is benefiting America?
I think that well, you guys know about this when you signed up for this, so it is indeed fair. And if you don't like it, no one's forcing you to stay here. You can always go back.
Good point. So, just to say that because this immigration is a complex topic, right? And speaking about me, and I guess maybe it's true for you guys and most of the people I have come across, that they found out this much later, that they not gonna become permanent resident based on their country of birth, or they gonna be restricted in a country like United States. The reason we decided to come, like that where we when we had to get the international exposure, we had like tons of options to go to which country, but the impression we had is that United States is one of the country which is like very fair, which respects human rights, which has a great opportunity, equal opportunity, and that's why we came. We didn't know that we gonna be restricted based on where we are born. If I knew that, I wouldn't have came here. I would have gone to a different country where I am like rewarded based on my work skills. Education's not based, not judged or punished for where I am born. And to say that now, like let's say that you say that now I know, like most of the people who come to know this much later. Now I know why I don't leave when I found out about this discrimination, right? So here is the thing, that I've been through this kind of discrimination and I had to go through a lot of hardship because of this kind of discrimination. Now, if I leave, this discrimination is going to continue happening, and someone is going to find out much later, and then they're going to leave. So this kind of exploitation is going to continue happening. Now, because I've been through this, now I'm very well. Still learning a lot of new things, but now I have been through this. So I want to make sure that this stops, and a lot of people who are already coming, who is like right now, they are like advertising greatly, right? Right now, not right now, like last year, embassy in India, US embassy in India had a goal that we're gonna issue 1 million visas to Indians, right? So they are like India and kind of like US is emerging as one of the great partners for development of the world, the entire world. So they're gonna they want Indian because the skills they need are in India, right? So I want to make sure that that is great. I'm happy to see that. But while they are bringing all these workers or students from India, they get the equal opportunity. I don't want them to be treated specially, right? I'm not saying that put them in the front of the line, or I'm not saying that give them something special which are not others are getting, right? But I want to make sure that while they are doing it, whether a student is from India or whether the student is from Nepal, I don't want them to be restricted based on when they are born. If they are restricting them on something else, like if they are like not hardworking or sincere, those kind of things, it's okay to restrict, but not something based on where you are born.
Yeah, I have a very interesting argument to you, Mr. Manager.
So now, which side you are on?
Now I've changed the
Okay,
side.
the swing.
I'm more of
guy.
a swing guy. Yeah. So, Mr. Manager, we already know like there are 1.2 million people. I mean, Indian people right now in this backlog, right? And this specific category is for high skilled, right? So that high skilled, that specific term could imply somewhere that okay, high skilled means high potential, right? That to bring a larger impact. Do you think, or maybe there is a very high chance that out of 1.2 million people, maybe there would be two people who could make a second, like another Fortune 500 company or build a company which could be a Fortune 500. Don't you think that because of this country cap, we are actually capping the potential of 1.2 million people, which could bring impact to this great country? And when you said that, okay, didn't you already know that you're signing up for something which you're gonna like be here for a while and then you go away? I mean, go back to the country. So think about this: you came here with getting good education, and then you moved to a work visa, and after 5 or 6 years you started loving this country, you started liking this place, and now you're motivated to contribute to this country. Is loving a country crime, right? Now you are asking that when we started loving that country and we have the potential to bring something bigger, and you're asking us to go back. Is that fair? Do you think that capping the potential of 1.2 million people is fair?
Yeah, sure, whatever.
Okay.
All right. We are on the winning side now.
One major concern or my support for this country caps is that American healthcare system and possibly all the other industries, they benefit equally from diverse talents from across the world. For far too long, one race of people, they have dominated all the industries here in the United States, and after much advocacy and I would say after much protest and everything, now finally we are able to see diversity and equal representation across all industries. So this cap ensures that. So why do you want to remove it? Are you guys like anti-diversity or something?
Let me ask you, like, you said that because of this cap, you see a lot of diversity in healthcare. It's good for healthcare. That's what you say?
I think so because people from different ethnicities, although we are all the same, but there are a lot of differences among us. So someone, let's say, who is African American, would be more comfortable, getting a diagnosis from an African American doctor or being treated by an African American nurse, and that nurse, him or herself, both would also be would also know more about the African American, skin and differences that could potentially, help or comfort the patient. So yeah, I think it does help.
So again, I am saying that, let's say personally, I am speaking that if I get sick, if I am in need of a nurse, if I am in need of a doctor, I want to be treated with best doctor who is available or best nurse who is available. I don't care where they are from. I need to make sure that whoever is the best, while they are available, I don't want to go to a second class or less qualified doctor or nurse just because they are from where I am, right? So that's personally true for me. But also another thing is, as I said previously, right, that if you really want to see diversity, then put the cap on student visa, put the cap on work visa. Then
Are you saying that other than Indians, every other nationality is like a second class?
no, I'm not saying that. If there is this
Are
cap,
they, are they not Are they not
No,
as good
that's-
as Indian doctors? Or nurses?
someone who says that. So let me just. That's a good argument. One, anyone who says that if this cap is not there, then other countries' people won't be able to qualify. They are the ones saying that only Indians are qualified. So we need to keep this cap there. So then other countries' people get chance. If this cap is not there, then the best of the best will qualify. If just like in Olympic, right, there is no cap, and the best of the best person gets the gold medal. India doesn't get the best in all the gold medals. Whoever is the best of the best gets the gold medal. So if we remove this cap, then whoever is the best will qualify. If they are Indian, they will qualify, or if someone from another country, they will still be able to qualify, right?
Adding to the point that when we go to see a doctor, that I would be more, as you added, that if an African American person goes and visits the hospital, he would be more comfortable to see an African American person treating him. I don't think that's fair. As Anuj said, it's more important that the person is qualified to treat me. And the second thing which I would be looking at is how empathetic is that person to me, because I'm in pain, right? So I would be happy to get treated with any doctor who is more empathetic, who is more knowledgeable, and who is more caring to get me out of that pain which I'm suffering from. So I don't think the color and the country of birth is important when you're getting treated in a hospital. More important thing is how qualified that doctor is and how empathetic and caring that doctor is, I would say.
Another thing is,
So this thing you agree, right? Like this makes
not,
sense.
Come on, Mr. Manager, come on.
you lose it. Not completely.
Like that one is addressed well, like that.
Not completely. You know what? I feel like all doctors from all nationalities are really good and they all show empathy towards their patients. Having someone from your own race or ethnicity is like the next best thing that you can get. I mean, sure, the 2 points that you said are good and it's like it's available with everybody. But now, if I have, like, I'm brown, right? If I have a brown doctor, I would be more comfortable.
So that's a personal choice. But personally, I would go with the best. It doesn't matter. But as we say that, let's say that if you want to see more diversity in healthcare, if someone is like really against skills and more in favor of diversity, then yeah, put the cap on student visa, put the cap on work visa. Then you will see more people in the healthcare. Otherwise, we have people in the backlog who are doctors and engineers, not like in the healthcare. We have a lot of doctors who are in backlog. So they came here on H1B, but if there was a cap on H1B, then those doctors wouldn't be there. You would have seen more diversity in healthcare. So right, that's where you have to restrict them. Also, someone is commenting online that there is a diversity quota as well. So if you want to see more diversity, and if United States, like we really desperately need diversity, they can increase their quota as much as they want, right? So right now it's, I guess, yearly 55,000. They can make it 1 million. That's different thing. But on the skill-based visa, I think that the priority should be based on the skills, not based on where they are born. Or diversity shouldn't be a discussion in the skill-based visas.
Yeah, one more important point which I would like to discuss, which we just discussed right now, that if we remove the country cap, then other countries would get lesser opportunity, right? Now think like the situation, you are right now in Texas, and a person is in Texas and he has to get a treatment, and he try to get a treatment in hospital in New York, right? As soon as that person enters, files everything, and he finds out that okay, there is some resource constraint in that hospital due to limited number of doctors or maybe limited number of technology or anything, right? So now you are in a queue to get that treatment, right? And there
Yes,
are 100
good
people,
point.
and there are 100 people ahead of you. And then the hospital tells you that you are from Texas, and that is the reason that you will not be able to get treated in the next
Right.
50 days. But somebody who's from New Jersey will be get treated.
Or let's say that North Dakota, they have a quota of each state. Like every day, they treat 7% of the people from each state. Now as you are from Texas, they have already made their quota because the Texas population is very high compared to North Dakota, right? So now, even though you are like in a very serious need of healthcare, and the person from the North Dakota is just having a headache,
Still,
but
that
because there is a quota on who gets treated based on the state quota, then they're not looking at what is the urgency. They are looking for diversity, that we want to treat the diverse group of people, not just the people of one particular state. So even though you are in the serious need, you are having a heart attack, the other person is going to get treated first. Is that fair?
To explain it in a very, very simple terms, if you remove the country cap, it would become a first come, first serve basis. So if you're qualified, if you want to apply first, then you apply first, you get the visa first, right? But given that right now the case is you have applied first, but because of the cap, you don't get to get the visa, get the permanent residency on time.
That's exactly the point of the cap. First of all, this scenario is absurd. I feel like you guys are making stuff up to prove your point.
This is called analogy.
This never happens. So keeping the cap actually ensures that we have diverse talents from across the globe. If we remove it, India is highly populated, and there will be a real influx of, let's just say, just doctors from India. Now, somebody from Azerbaijan who wants to come to United States will now be discouraged that there is a long wait time, and so we won't be able to get doctors from across the globe. And I feel like all those doctors from all those different countries, they are very skilled, and when all these diverse people work together, they can be more productive than a group of doctors from just one particular point in the globe.
No, I think this falls under the same thing that Anuj mentioned earlier, that we have different categories among which people can come in. So we have diversity visas, we have skill-based visas. So if a doctor wants to come into the US from Azerbaijan, we have diversity visas where we invite other people from so many different ethnicities and cultures to come into the US so that we can have a full plate of diversity.
Another thing which has to be noticed over here is that when you're talking about like okay diversity and stuff, the people we are talking about right now are already present here. They are already working with a lot of diversified people. It's not about bringing new people from other countries. It's about the people who are already working over here from like tens of 15s of years, like whatever number you count, like I don't even know what is the number. So they are already here. So there is no discrimination in diversification over here. The discrimination is specifically based on the country gap. So it's not about bringing new people. So the person who's thinking to apply for a green card, if the person is highly, you're talking something like, okay, for example, if a person becomes a doctor in 2023 and becomes qualified for this visa, then the person can only apply in 2023, right? You cannot expect that person to apply in 2021 or earlier time because I hope you get the point, right? Like the people we are talking about already here.
Right. So yeah. So as you were saying, that people will be discouraged. But let me just say that if you Google the ethnicity in the United States, Indians are around 1%. There are like so many ethnicities. So if we are like really want to diversify, that let's say the German are 13% in the United States, Indian are only 1%. Basically, if you want to diversify and really, I wouldn't do it, but if someone really wants to diversify, they should put a ban on anyone from immigrating from Germany right now. They should ban anyone who is like coming from UK right now, right? That these are the people who has like very high percentage on the United States, which I don't see the difference. But if someone really wants to diversify, they need to put ban on this, and they should invite more Indians to the United States because they are only 1%. That I don't recommend. But what I recommend is that, like, let's say, if you really want diversity, increase the diversity quota, but you don't need to put them in the job which can cost lives, right? So we don't need to hire a doctor based on the diversity. I think the doctor needs to be hired and rewarded based on his skills, based on his knowledge, based on the work he wants to do, not like incentivizing someone just based on the country of birth, because if they don't have the right skills, if someone became a doctor based on where they are born, it can cost someone's life, right? That you can lose your husband, you can lose your parents just because someone got qualified based on their country of birth. And that's not only true in healthcare, that can go in any job, right? That we don't see this directly other jobs as a frontline job, but let's say that Mohit works in semiconductor industry, and if that industry makes some defect, and if that chip gets overheated, and that can blast on the airplane, and that can cost any life. So all the jobs are like high skilled jobs, are demanding jobs, which can be dangerous when we start hiring people or incentivizing people based on where they are born. So I think that if you want more diversity, increase the diversity quota, but we don't need to put diversity priority on which something should be skill based.
Another thing that this country cap helps or ensures is that, particularly India, right? India is the most populous country right now. If this cap is removed, there is a possibility that India can send a lot of migrants, a lot of high skilled workers to America, and this could in some way result in national security for US. They can working all these highly qualified jobs in, let's say, cybersecurity and everything. And India is also a fast growing economy, and they also want to dominate and influence the world. So I feel this in a way of protecting national security by having this country cap?
So yeah, just to address that, there were like a lot of few points. If I don't touch on any of those, just repeat those points. But let's say that again we come back to the same thing that you are taking the Indians, right? That there is not no cap on student visa, there is no cap on work visa, then there is no cap on immigration petition, which means that people can come from India without country cap, and then there is a path for them to stay permanently here, at least on the H-1B, right? That once the immigration petition gets approved, and by the way, immigration petition doesn't have country cap or quota. So United States wants to approve million immigration petition this year, they can do that. So then they have a path. So right, so we are not solving this issue of not seeing more Indians. Also, this is skill-based visa, so it's not like Indian can just send people there. They need to qualify first. So student visa, let's talk about that. That first university needs to accept the student. University wants to maintain their reputation. So they're gonna hire the best of the best students, regardless of where they come from. If they start getting students who would do the research and get them the endowments they need from a different country, they're gonna hire those people from the different country. And same like then there is another check on like there is a consulate who issues the visas, right? So if we have this problem, university will stop accepting those Indian students or consulate will stop issuing the visa. It's not like India can decide and send 1 million people to America today if they want, right? It's not like there is an open border where they can like just send the people, start sending the people. That's a whole different issue. Same with the work visa. That work visa, H-1B and immigration petition, most of them are filed by employers, right? So it's not like the US employer needs to sponsor them first. If they are getting the skills they need from a different country, like different foreigner, then they gonna prioritize them. So it's not like voluntary thing where like if the Indian government decides, then they can just send a million people to the United States. And United States is a friend of India, right? India is a friend of United States, so we are like not kind of enemy at all. If you have seen all this like visits of Biden to India or like Prime Minister Modi came here, there is a lot of talk of our like protecting democracy and working along with it. So it's like not adversary. So basically what I'm trying to say for this is that let's say that there is a need of a doctor or engineer in the United States. If there's a job opening, it should first go to Americans, right? This is America and they should be prioritized. But then if the qualified individual is not available in the United States, then it should go to foreigner regardless of where they are from. So we need to stop looking at this, that this country, they should go to whoever is the best qualified regardless of where they are from, right? Anything else you guys wanted to add or that?
No, I just wanted to touch upon, okay, let me take the last point that you mentioned a bit further, that right now we have influx of a lot of Indians. Who knows what's going to happen in the next 5 years or 10 years, right? Let's say another country might have influx of a lot of people and they might get stuck in a country cap. So it's not like we're arguing only for the Indians. We're basically arguing that the unfair law that has been set up that's stopping or blocking people based on their country of birth, regardless of where they're born. It's India, Nepal, France, whatever country you're from. If we get 1 million people in the next 10 years from Germany, right, they'll also get stuck in the same problem. So that's what we're trying to stop. It's not like a lot of Indians are going to come in and they're going to take over the US. I don't think that's
one more thing which I would add over here is it's not about just random people walking on the street coming and applying for permanent residence. They are highly skilled, right? They have good education and education from the prestigious universities of the United States. They've been working here. They have been a law-abiding immigrant, I would say. So they know they are also responsible for the national security. They themselves take it as a responsibility that national security is their responsibility as well. So they understand that we are living here. So they've been here. So the national security is also for their safety as well.
And they can scrutinize each step, right?
Right, yeah.
Starting with from F1 to H1B or whatever L1, whatever work visa you are on, and then when your immigration petition is
Yeah.
filed, you're getting scrutinized.
Yeah.
with-
So if they
There's
are
a lot of
national
screening done
security, they need
before.
to be stopped when they are entering,
Entering,
not
yeah.
they after they live here. But
For 10 years.
as Mohit was saying that the skill United States has shortage of today, I think that India produces that most, but that can change anytime with the
That's
AI.
right.
We have seen in the past, right, that during the gold rush, United States needed a different kind of skills that didn't came from India. Right now, today, what the skills United States has shortage of, it's coming from India with the AI development and anything. We have seen that anything can change very fast. In 10 years, probably the skill United States has shortage of that not coming from India, but if there is no country cap, then we will know that whatever skill United States has shortage of, they will be able to get the best of the best person who is qualified for the skill, regardless of where they are coming from. So it's like not favoring any country, it's favoring that we should be able to get the best of the best person we need, regardless of where they are coming from. Now it's like let's say that I would say that let's say that if a country is clearly an enemy of the United States, and United States, if they want to ban that country altogether, that person from this country is not safe for them to come to the United States. To give you an example, North Korea, right? So if United States is clearly know that this country of people they don't need it, they can ban that country completely. But it's not like let's keep taking this country's students, workers, and then restricting that growth. So that is something which is unfair.
Sounds good. Yeah, that's all the questions I had. So thank you guys for doing this. This was actually fun. Thank you, Nikki, for your
Now
comment.
you agree that I think I shouldn't be there.
I don't know. Maybe by next podcast.
No, but this time you should agree that no, this everything you said makes so much sense. And now I am gonna protest.
I'm gonna protest for my employee.
For my employee, for my country, for the world.
Absolutely, yeah. This issue is really big, and I'm glad I could play this role of Nikki's manager, someone who is for country cap.
So, like, it would be crazy if someone just watched 5 minutes of this argument and it was like this guy, and he runs into this lucky on the street. That would be crazy. So he was just like playing a guy to have this argument, and this was fun.
Yeah, but I hope this was really fruitful and entertaining for all of you guys. And these are like real questions. I got inspired for these questions from all the negative posts and all I read on Twitter and all. In real life, I have never heard anything negative about removing country cap. But as we know, social media is a completely different world. So probably next time I'll come up with some more arguments for country cap, as I encounter them. But it was fun today. Sorry if some of it seemed repetition, but I wanted to make sure that I ask all the questions, all the upside questions that are in favor of country cap. But yeah, thanks for watching, and thanks all three of you, for all the great arguments that you guys gave. And this was unscripted, so you guys.
So that is a teleconference.
Yeah, we have TV in front of us. So you guys did a really good job. I mean, some of those arguments that I made, I was like, oh man, this seems like gotcha questions, but you guys handled it really well.
We all been to a lot of things.
Yeah, maybe I'm new to this, but they've been advocating for this for a long time. So yeah, that clearly shows. So yeah,
That's how highly skilled people look like in the
This is what the highly skilled people look like. Anyways, yeah, this was fun. The first episode. We just wanted to. We are today here in Dallas, so just wanted to take this opportunity, and it was great having this arguments which we do often in real lives that we sometimes play this without planning, right? So this was like a good discussion for us to organize our thought as well, right? That sometimes we are not clear. So whatever questions Lucky was having, even if you are Indian, if you have this kind of questions, it's okay to have that, but it's okay to ask those questions so you get clarity on those questions, you get clarity of thought, and that helps you to be advocate on this issue more openly, more eloquently, and you can make this fun as well to have this kind of conversation. So I'm gonna continue doing this every week. Whenever I get chance to, we are together. We're gonna do it together. But if we are not together, then I'm gonna start inviting guests to have this kind of conversation. It's not gonna be the similar thing, but different thing. So if anyone has a great story they want to share, or anyone has a great hardship they are going through, and if you are comfortable coming on this podcast or this live stream and having a conversation, I would love to have you. If you have any recommendation of the people I should invite, I already have some people in mind I'm gonna invite. But if you have anyone you want to see, just put it in the comments. And anyone who is against this country cap, right? Removal of country cap. And I have never seen like people post that they are against on Twitter with a fake profile, but if it's genuine person, they would be comfortable coming out and having this debate, and I would love to have them live and have this debate to clarify a lot of things. So if anyone wants to come online, just hit me up. I don't have a fixed time yet that I'm gonna do at this particular time because that is challenging, but I'm gonna make sure that I do at least once a week. And I don't have a name for this thing yet, so if you have a suggestion of name, I guess that one thing I was thinking about is unscripted immigration. What is the name of this live stream, weekly live stream? So if you have any ideas, it's nothing is set in stone yet. So if you have any suggestions, like send it, leave it in the comments, and hopefully I will finalize the name soon. But this is gonna happen weekly. Thank you for everyone who joined, everyone who submitted, participated through chat, posted the questions in the chat. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us. And if you are watching this once the live stream is ended, leave it in the comments. What were your thoughts? What would you like to see? We had so much fun, and hopefully you had so much fun and got some of the clarity from this discussion. So thank you, and I'll see you guys next week.